Okay, we're live.
We're live. Welcome to BB Breakdown 902. I'm Melissa. Woohoo! I'm Melissa, and Lindsay is currently uploading our link to Twitter for all those people that join in live, all those people that join in after the fact. Thank you. I know we haven't been getting very many viewers lately, but I think it's just really foretelling of how the season's going in terms of chatter on Twitter and all the things I'm reading and just how this season's playing out, really. So we're going to kind of quickly brief over the overview of who won HOH and who won veto, and then we'll go straight into all the drama that's been unfolding this week in the House. There's been lots of it. I made notes because I didn't want to miss anything or forget anything or twist up my words like I did last time. So, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll just do a little quick overview. If you don't know who won veto, I'm about to spoil it. So sorry. So Jason won HOH. He puts up Matt and Raven. No surprise there because Paul has been getting the couples to target each other. He's been doing that back work for the past week, and he's done a good job of it because, sure enough, Jason puts up Matt and Raven. Excuse me. Jason wins the veto, which we haven't seen happen yet. We'll see that tomorrow. And then there's all this controversy that in the House on whether or not he should put up Kevin or not. Kevin being one of his allies. And this is all kind of sprung from Paul. And I think it's mostly sprung from the fact that he really wants to ensure that Raven stays safe because when Raven ends up staying and Matt ends up going, he'll have complete trust in Raven, and she'll basically follow whatever he says, even though she's already doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted to put Kevin on the block this week and then make him a target for next week. He's done a really good job of that. Alex, basically, in my opinion, begs Jason to put Kevin on the block. And Jason kind of sticks to his guns, which I was really happy about, and doesn't put Kevin on the block. Do you think that was the right move for Jason's game?
Yeah, I think Jason's playing Jason's game and not everybody else's. And I think that's why this season is not as great because everyone's just doing whatever Paul tells them to do. So it's nice to see something different. Someone have a backbone. My goodness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Paul. I have to hand it to Paul. He's done a really good job manipulating everybody, getting every single person to do what he wants, and convincing them why it's best for them to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and getting them to believe that. However, I'm just kind of bored with the strategy and gameplay because no one's challenging Paul up
Well, it's
until
just
this.
like give it to him already so this season can be over. Ugh.
So this week we see a lot of bullying going on, like usual, but we'll kind of go over it because this is kind of like in terms of, like we do it to Cody and Jessica quite a bit, but in terms of like Kevin not even opposing anybody or doing anything at all, and they're just picking him as a victim and then trying to stir his pot to make him seem like the best target next week. What did they start by doing? So, Josh starts questioning him because Paul knows that Kevin won the $25,000 because Kevin told Paul that in the beginning of the game. So Josh knows because Paul told him. And so Josh is trying to get Kevin to admit to the rest of the house that he won the $25,000, and Kevin's not like biting. And then he brings his kids into it by saying, "Oh, do you swear on your kids you didn't win the $25,000?" And then that was Kevin's breaking point. He like from the feeds clip I saw, he like lunges across the counter with a glass toward Josh, who's like, continuing to do what Josh does, just be a little goonie for Paul. That's what I'm calling him. He's Paul's little goonie, like does whatever Paul says and does all of his dirty work. And Kevin kind of hits a breaking point, and then feeds go down for like, I think it was like 45 or 50 minutes or something. Do you think it's right what they're doing to each person that they want out? Like, it's sure enough, target somebody, but do you really have to like put them through the ringer like they've all been doing to them? Like, it's just not right. And then
Um, I think
bring,
that. Oh, okay.
bringing kids into it, I think that's just stooping at an all-time low.
I think that Josh is 23 years old, and I think that like at 23, you have no, you're not even fully developed yet in your brain. And I just think that like Paul's not doing it. Paul's behind the scenes, right? He is doing it. He's just not doing it. So no, I don't think it's right. And I think it's childish. And I think that like Paul, my opinion, just pulls the thread and lets Josh go. And then it completely unravels. So when you have somebody that's such a hothead, it's just it goes from 0 to 100 and it's nasty, and I don't think that's necessarily like his intention. It just always goes there. So yeah, it's like, somebody with like, you just don't bring kids into it. And I think Kevin's clearly struggling with it a little bit, and he pulled the lever that pissed him off. So I personally think if Kevin lunged at him and all that, like that's not the right way to behave. But you can shut it down and just use your mouth to do it. But I think a person can only take so much too.
Yeah. Well, he was there was a counter between them.
Oh, I'm sure.
But yeah. So then after this all happens, Feeds come back, and apparently they'd made up and apologized to one another or whatever. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if it was the same day. I'm pretty sure it was the same day, but then I see this clip on Feeds about, because of course we're not watching Feeds as thoroughly as everyone else. I'm just watching clips upon clips, but I see a feed about Whistlenut, and he's in with, so Jason, he's in with Paul. I put it on our Twitter. Paul, Josh, himself, and Alex are in I forget which room they're in, but anyway, they're in there and they're talking about Kevin. And then Jason makes the joke that, well, he's calling it a joke, but he makes the comment that he's gonna go fuck Kevin's wife, tie up his daughters, and make them watch. Like, I was appalled. I was like, actually,
Don't they realize they're on television?
either way, like, who thinks of that shit?
Well, yeah, I know that, but like it's just like that's not funny, that's not clever, and that's
Yeah,
this
so
is
like,
why I know I shouldn't be saying this, but this is why I don't enjoy US Big Brother. It's always something like this. Always.
well, the past couple seasons have been okay, but this season is just stooping to an all-time low. Like,
Oh, it's
I can't
bullying.
believe.
In a world that like is no. It's a different time out there and I get that, but like this is not right. This bullying bullshit and all of it. I just don't like it. Boo to this
No, I
casting
don't.
this season.
Yeah, no, I feel like I was team Jason up until this comment, and then he makes this comment, and it's just like, not only like, why are you, like, yeah, everybody's picking on Kevin this week. I get it. But why would you even dream about, like, first of all, tying up his daughters to watch, and doing that, like, especially knowing how much Kevin's family means to him. And like, Kevin wasn't there, thank God, to hear this, but like his family have watched it, and like they made like heartbreaking, like the heartbreak symbol on Twitter. And like, it's just, I don't know, it's just so sad. And then of course Jason's family apologized and said like it was just a joke and that it's out of character and blah blah blah, and it was taken out of context. But how can you take that comment out of context? There's no way to take that out of context. So anyhow, that's my thoughts on that whole situation. I think it was wrong, and I think that I was really proud of Jason for standing his guns towards the rest of the house about putting Kevin on the block, and then all of a sudden he's on the other side and he's making these crude remarks. And I'm just like, I don't know if like what Big Brother's thinking, like letting this go on this long, like the amount of like bullying that's happening this season. It's kind of
Who the
unbelievable.
president is.
Anyway, so that's the most, as far as I'm concerned, that's the most controversial thing that happened this week.
It's terrible.
And the fallout on Twitter is just basically everybody is not enjoying did not enjoy that and cannot believe Jason said it and is no longer team Jason. So they're on the same page as we are in that regard. And then what else? Oh, and then to take it even to a step further, if bullying and using words wasn't enough, Alex decided to be funny and go and take all the slop, get rid of it, because the only two people on slop this week are Kevin and Matt, and get rid of all the slop so that Kevin has nothing to eat.
Oh my God.
And then, like, I just don't get it. He's already on slop, for God's sake. It's one thing, like, it was funny on Big Brother Canada season 2 when Netta took all the condiments and, like, got rid of those. Because,
Yep.
like, it just made slop taste terrible, so it was funny. Like, everybody could appreciate that joke as, like, being funny and making slop harder.
Yeah.
But to take away the only food source that person has for the week, that's just wrong. I was not happy with that. I think that was taking it a step too far, and I think that Alex should have like some sort of penalty against her for that. But I haven't heard anything about that fallout in terms of what Big Brother did as punishment for taking all the slop and dumping it.
Crazy.
Are you surprised by that? I know you were kind of like not rooting for Alex, but saying that like we aren't giving her enough credit in the game. Are you surprised she did that?
Yeah, a little bit. I think it's out of character, but maybe not. Maybe she's a mean person. I don't know. It's a weird season.
Anyway.
It's a weird season because I was talking to my friend and he was like, "Are you still watching?" And I was like, "Well, bits and parts, but it's disappointing that like I don't want to spend 3 hours of my week watching people be bullied and say terrible, terrible things. This is not Big Brother. Big Brother is a game of logic and behind the scenes. It's just not like you don't bring character into it. It's more about strategy. And I feel like other seasons have been strategy and like just like as an example, last season of Big Brother Canada, like I know like it can be like a lot or whatever, but the reality of the situation is like I feel as if they all walked out of there and they're for the most part friends and cordial and know that it was a game. And I feel like this is taking it to another level. And it's a shame when that happens because I think like you forget that this is a game. It's only 3 months of your life. And what a cool opportunity. But instead, you're using it to be hateful and negative and disruptive of people's lives. And for Jason not to know that that would break Kevin's family's heart as a like because you're right, like yeah, okay, Kevin didn't hear it, but the world did and Kevin's family heard it. So they will never be friends ever. And if they are, I'd be shocked only because I would never ever let anybody talk about my family that way ever. So just I don't understand. And like a lot of this, we've said this before, goes into editing and the fact that they're choosing to show this it baffles me because some of the hate.
Yeah, but this didn't happen on live show.
No,
yet.
I know that. I know that, but I mean, I guess it just feels very negative. Like, and it's just not. I don't know about you. Like, you can say differently, but it's just not fun. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, what's Ike and Dimitri's gonna do? What's Karen gonna do? She's so crazy. She cries all the time. Like, and it was fun, but this doesn't feel fun. This feels spiteful and wrong, and I don't like watching that. That's where I am.
Yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. And
Yeah.
like to be honest with you, like what we said last week is I've just been like I haven't been watching episode by episode. I've been just binging like the however many hours it is into one so that I don't know, I can't sit through the commercials and be like excited to see what happens next. Like the only kind
It
of
must be
exciting thing that
ratings
happens,
taking a hit.
I don't know what the ratings are. I'm so curious. If anybody out there knows, tweet at us.
Tell
I'm
us.
wondering if yeah, because they like if people are enjoying watching this, that's
Oh, I
that's all I
can't
have to
imagine.
say
I
about that.
can't imagine.
Yeah.
Ugh. But
And there
you
has been
know,
some.
it's all about, it's a gamble because you can't guarantee what anything will happen. Like this whole experience, you're falling. This whole experience is like really a risk. It's like you put people in a box and watch how they react. You can't control it. I mean, they can come over and Big Brother can say, "Don't do that" or "Don't touch that," but the reality is like, "Don't be a shitty person." You know, don't be a racist.
Yeah.
Don't be like you can't say that. They chose them.
Mm-hmm. I
Anyway.
know they chose them.
We'll see how it plays
Maybe it was.
out, but I think it might go in Paul's favor. Unless Alex is
I think.
smart, but she's not.
No, honest to God, like everybody is just bowing down to Paul. They're all bowing down to him. No one is challenging him. No one is even has not even Christmas. I thought Christmas might have been the one, but Josh, from what I can tell from feeds this week, is the only one kind of on to the fact that Paul is playing the whole house. So he's on to it, but
But he's
he's
not
like, well, I
smart
really
enough to pull anything off.
don't.
He's too much of a
And he's
hothead. They
like,
don't trust him.
no.
I love it.
And not just that, but it's like he in the same breath, he's like, oh, Paul's playing the whole house. He's really set up well, but I hope he's on our side the most. Like that's kind of his attitude. So like he knows that he's playing the house, but he's like, I hope he's really working with us the most though, like he said he was. So he's like, he's still like in awe of him, and I think it's partially because Josh is a super fan. He goes into the show as a super fan and
Oh
was
yeah,
probably a Paul fan last season. So that's probably still tying over into his gameplay, right?
that'll do
But
it. Sorry.
I don't know. I we all know that I'm a Netta fan, and if I was in the house with Netta, I'd probably be the exact same way. I'd
Oh
probably
yeah,
like
you
be like,
definitely would. You'd
oh,
go in with
just
one strategy, and she'd walk in, and your whole strategy would go out the door because you just want to work with her.
yeah, I'd just be like, yeah, okay, I'll do whatever you say. Okay,
The
yeah.
only person I would get like nutso for is oh my god, I forgot his name, but he's like the best. He's won 2 seasons. He's from the US. Oh my
Will.
god. What? No. The guy, the skinny guy that like went in with a partner and oh my god, this is
Dan,
gonna drive me nuts.
Dan.
Dan. That's the one where I'd be like starstruck because I think he's played the most manipulative, smartest game of Big Brother that I've ever seen. Ever.
I'd like to see like all those like big, well remembered, good strategists in the same house.
Yeah, you put like
I'd
Evil
like to see
Dick, Dan,
Evil
Will,
Dick and Dr. Will, Janelle,
Janelle.
um, Danielle from season, I want to say she's from season 2 or 3.
Yes, she was
From like
great.
the early,
Yeah.
amazing, like all those like power players that
Mm-hmm.
are in it to like and play hard. I'd like to see them go at it. I
It'll be
think that would
so
be
much
cool.
fun.
I'd like to see how they align with each other. Yeah. I think it would be interesting.
But I think it's tough because I don't think any of those people we just named, excuse me, I have a hiccup, would do it again. They've all played a second round and now they're like 10 years later and they like, I think Janelle has 3 children and Dan has a couple children. Like, I think they wouldn't do it again because they've moved on. I think. They seem to like tweet a little bit about the show, but I'd be surprised if they go back. And also like, they're in their mid 30s now. Like they're not 24 anymore. That's different. And yeah, I don't know.
I'm
It's
in my mid
different.
30s and like play
No,
Big
and
Brother one day.
it's not about the age. It's just I'm saying like, are they gonna strut around in their bikinis and be like, "Fuck you" and all like like I just don't think that like you would compose yourself differently, especially knowing that like your kids can watch this and your kids. Like it's just you would conduct yourself very differently. Now Dan, not so much because like I'm just talking Janelle specifically, like as a woman. Danielle was really good and didn't play that game. But Janelle was just a little bit like hot-headed and a lot of cursing and bikinis and so whatever. And Will and oh god. Anyway, but great show. I do not want to see Mike Boogie go back in this house ever again. He's creepy.
He's creepy, but I liked him.
Mm.
I him.
Anyway, we've gone down like a rabbit hole.
We really have. I think we've come in a full circle for this episode of BB Breakdown. Do you have anything other comments of this week before we peace
No,
out?
I'm good.
Yeah, I am too. So that's it for us this week. Well, I'm away all next week, so it'll probably won't be till the following week we'll be back with you guys. So have a good night. We'll see you in a couple weeks for another recap. Bye.
Bye, guys.